Okay, so we're going to show you a way to graph using standard form without having to convert to slope-intercept form. This only works if it is in standard form and it comes to nice whole numbers or integers. So first things first is always make sure it's in standard form. That means ax plus by equals c. And how we do this is we're going to cover up the y term and solve for x in order to find the x-intercept. And we are then going to cover up the x term and solve for y to find the y-intercept. And those 2 points will make my line. So we call this graphing by intercepts, the x and y-intercept. So if I look first, I want to cover up the y and solve for x. So when I cover up this y, I have 3x equals -6. And what I'm going to do is solve for x. So to solve for x, I'm going to divide by 3. So x equals -6 divided by 3 is -2. This is my x-intercept. So x-intercept means where it is on the x-axis at -2, I put my point. Then we're going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to cover up my x and solve for y. So we have -2y equals -6. Notice that I did take the sign in front of the 2y. So again, I'm just going to divide by -2. So y equals -6 divided by -2 is +3. So where 3 is on my y-axis is up 3, and there's my y-intercept. Then all you have to do is connect those 2 points. So that is graphing by intercepts. Let's do it again. Number 2, I'm going to cover up my y and solve for x. So here, x equals 4. Now technically I'm already done because I don't have to divide by anything. X is already by itself. So where x is 4, 4 on the x-axis is right 4. So I graph that. Then I do the same thing but I cover x and solve for y. So 2y equals 4. I'm going to divide by 2. So y equals 2. And 2 on the y-axis is up 2, and then I graph. Okay, if you notice, this only works if they're nice, pretty numbers. Like I have -2, 3, 4, 2. There's no decimals, no fractions. It's just nice integers. So let's keep going. Number 3, if I cover up the y and solve for x, I have x equals 3. So that one's done. So where 3 is on the x-axis is right 3. Then I cover up the x and solve for y. Y equals 3. And since it's already solved for y, then 3 on the y-axis is up 3. And now I just connect my 2 points. And there's my line. Okay. Number 4, I solve for x by covering up y. So -4x equals 20. Divide by -4. So x equals 20 divided by -4 is -5. -5 on the x is left 5. Then I'm going to do the same thing, cover up my x and solve for y. So 5y equals 20. I divide by 5. So y equals 20 divided by 5 is 4. 4 on the y-axis is up 4. Plot it. Then I'm going to connect my 2 points, and there's my graph. Number 5, cover up my y, solve for x. So 4x equals -4. I divide by 4, so x equals -4 divided by 4 is -1. -1 on the x-axis is left 1. Then I cover up my x and solve for y, and I have -y equals -4. And a lot of people think, well, I'm done, it's -4. But I still have to solve for y by dividing by -1. So y equals -4 divided by -1 is +4. 4 on the y-axis is up 4. Once I have my 2 dots, I just connect them with a nice ruler, if you have it, or a nice straight edge like me. Number 6, I cover up y and solve for x. So 9x equals 45. I would divide by 9. So x equals 45 divided by 9 is 5. 5 on the x-axis is right 5. Then I cover up my x and solve for y. So 15y equals 45. Divide by 15. And y equals 3. 3 on the y-axis is up 3, and then I would graph it. Okay, let's do a couple more just to get us through. Here I'm going to cover up my y and solve for x. So 10x equals 10. I divide by 10, so x equals 1. 1 on the x-axis is 1 to the right. Then I cover up my x and solve for y. 2y equals 10. I divide by 2, so y equals 5. 5 on the y-axis is up 5. Then once I have my 2 dots, I connect them to make my graph. Number 8, I cover up my y and solve for x. So 2x equals negative 8. Divide by 2, so x equals negative 4. Negative 4 on the x-axis is left 4. Then I cover up my x and solve for y. So negative 4y equals negative 8. Divide by negative 4. So y equals negative 8 divided by negative 4 is positive 2. So be careful. If you don't watch your signs, then you could get a completely different answer. 2 on the y-axis is up 2. Once I have those 2 points, and I connect them to make my line. Number 9, I cover up y and I solve for x, so x equals 1. I've already solved for x there, so 1 on the y-axis is to the right 1. I'm in the x-axis. Then I cover up my x and I solve for y. And no, my answer is not 1 there because I still need to divide by negative 1. So y equals 1 divided by negative 1 is negative 1. Negative 1 on the y-axis is down 1. So these points are really, really close together. So then I would connect them to make my line. Number 10, last but not least, I cover up my y and solve for x. So 10x equals negative 30. Divide by 10. So x equals negative 30 divided by 10 is negative 3. Negative 3 on the x-axis is left 3. Then I cover up my x and solve for y. 30y equals negative 30. So then I divide by 30. And I have negative 30 divided by 30 is negative 1. Negative 1 on the y-axis is down 1. Then once I have those 2 points, then I connect them and it makes my line.